Someone introduces themselves to you. You smile, you shake hands, you have a genuinely lovely conversation, and 30 seconds later, their name is completely gone, not fuzzy, gone, and you spend the rest of the interaction quietly panicking, hoping no one asks you to introduce them to someone else. If that sounds familiar, you've probably spent some time feeling embarrassed about it, like it means you're careless or distracted or somehow not paying enough attention to the people in front of you. But here's what psychology actually says. Forgetting names easily has very little to do with how much you care about people. In fact, for many people, it's connected to something that works quite beautifully in their favor. Let's talk about what that is. Reason number 1, your brain prioritizes meaning over detail. Research in cognitive psychology shows that human memory doesn't record everything equally. It filters. It decides, almost instantly, what is worth storing and what can be released. And for a certain kind of mind, one that is naturally drawn to ideas, emotions, concepts, and the deeper substance of an experience, the specific label attached to a person often gets deprioritized in favor of everything else about them. In other words, your brain was busy. It was taking in how the person made you feel, what they said that was interesting, the energy of the conversation, the ideas that came up. The name, a mostly arbitrary sequence of sounds, simply didn't make the cut in that moment. Psychology shows this is especially common in people who are highly conceptual thinkers, people whose minds naturally gravitate toward the meaning behind things rather than the surface details. You probably remember how a conversation felt long after you've forgotten what was said word for word. You remember ideas and impressions with vivid clarity. Names, dates, and labels, the raw data of experience, tend to slip through because your mind is genuinely occupied with something it finds more significant. This isn't a failure of attention. It's a reflection of where your attention naturally lives. Reason number 2, you are more present in the experience than in the information. Here's a reframe that might genuinely change how you see this. Research on memory encoding shows that we tend to remember things best when we make a deliberate effort to record them, almost like consciously pressing save. People who are good with names have often developed a habit of doing exactly that. The moment they hear a name, they repeat it, associate it, and anchor it to something. But people who forget names easily are often so absorbed in the actual experience of connecting with someone that the technical task of memorizing their name simply doesn't happen. You were present, you were engaged, you were genuinely interested in the human being in front of you, just not running the background process of filing their name away. There's something quietly beautiful about that, even if it's inconvenient. It means that when you're with someone, you're actually with them, not cataloging them, not processing them, just meeting them. Reason number 3, your memory is associative and emotional, not encyclopedic. Psychology shows there are meaningfully different memory styles. Some people have strong explicit memory. They're good at storing and retrieving specific facts, names, figures, and details on demand. Others have a more associative and emotional memory style. They remember things through connection, feeling, context, and narrative. If you forget names easily but can vividly recall a conversation from 3 years ago, or remember exactly how someone made you feel the first time you met them, or find that smells, music, and places bring memories rushing back in full color, your memory is working exactly as it's built to. It just runs on a different system, one that stores experience rather than information, one that encodes feeling rather than fact. This kind of memory, research suggests, is closely linked to empathy and emotional intelligence. It's the memory of someone who experiences the world deeply and personally. It just happens to be terrible with names. Here's what I want you to hold on to. Forgetting someone's name doesn't mean you didn't value them. It doesn't mean you weren't paying attention. It means your mind was somewhere else, somewhere arguably more important, in the feeling of the moment, in the substance of the connection, in everything about them that can't be reduced to a single word. You are not careless. You are just wired to remember what matters most to you. And for a mind like yours, that tends to be everything except the name. Be patient with yourself. Maybe write names down. Maybe repeat them back when you first hear them. But never mistake this particular quirk for a lack of depth. If anything, it might be evidence of exactly the opposite. If this made you feel a little more understood, subscribe. Every week, we explore the psychology behind the everyday things that make you wonder about yourself and usually find something worth appreciating there. You might just learn something that changes how you see your own mind. We'll see you in the next one.